Hey guys, in this video I wanted to discuss the idea of going the extra mile. At first blush, if we were thinking literally, you may think, oh, going the extra mile is when you physically go the extra mile. If we were all trying out for a cross-country team and we were required, or the requirement to try out, what we would be expected to do is run 5 miles, and then one of us decided, I'm not going to just run 5 miles, while these other people stop and they're like, oh, made good time, got this, I ran 5 miles, this is my requirement, I did what was expected, I'm going to run another mile. And some people would look at that person like they're crazy, but I guarantee you a lot of people would admire them. And even the coach that's watching, they may be like, okay, this person's a little bit insane. They only needed to run 5 miles, but they're running 6 just because, and they're doing it fast. They're doing it in faster time than some of the people are doing it for 5 miles. This is impressive. I want this person on my team. Because they show a quality that not many people, I think everybody possesses this quality or the ability to do this. So a lot of people have the ability to do this, but they don't necessarily grab hold of it and use it. And those people that maybe are looking on the sidelines judging this person for running another mile or doing something that isn't expected of him or her, they probably do have some admiration and some like, oh, I don't understand this, because it's different. People don't always understand things that are different. And in fact, there can be a lot of hatred behind that. Even though in the end it wasn't that serious, and you're just running another mile in order to prove a point. Now, obviously when I talk, well, maybe it's not obvious, but this video is not about physically running another mile, even though that could be a way of showing that you're going the extra mile. Going the extra mile doesn't have to be physical. Going the extra mile could be in school growing up. You're expected, or the standard is, a D or C is to pass your class. You have to get like C's to get degrees. That's kind of a term that you hear a lot in American universities is, oh, well, I got a C, C's to get degrees, I'm just gonna fly by, do minimum effort, get by. And maybe some people don't have to put so much effort in and they can still get a better grade. So it's going to look different for other people. So maybe your baseline is a little bit higher than some people, or lower depending on who you are. Going the extra mile is not comparing yourself to other people in the sense, oh, well, I can easily get a B on this paper because I can do it the night before, which I'm guilty of, and I can get a solid B+. But if you were to go the extra mile, you could get A+. But people naturally, most people want to do what is more comfortable with them. Something that doesn't push their limits. Something they don't really want to stand out of the crowd. They don't want to be the black sheep with all the white sheep in the flock. Or the herd, I don't know. Actually, I don't know if it's called flock. That sounds like a bird term. Anyways, I think you guys get my point. And the reason why I bring this up is I was just listening to Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill's talks that he did. I don't even know when. It was sometime in the early part of the 20th century. He gave a series of talks on his book Think and Grow Rich. And one of the subjects in the book and also in his talks was the idea of going the extra mile. And with going the extra mile, he talks about the term QQMA formula. And that is the quality you render service, the quantity you render service, and the mental attitude in which you render service. And all of those together make up going the extra mile. And what does that mean? It means quality, obviously. Quality doesn't have to be like aesthetically pleasing, but it can be something where instead of just putting something up that's like, oh, hey, my name's Bob. I mean, that's a really stupid example. You're actually putting something out there that has value. And again, this looks different for everybody, but something in which others are able to actually gather something from, and they're actually able to take away something, and do something positive with their life. And this might be a small thing, especially if it's just like a video or something like that. But it could also be something that could be very life-changing to someone. And that's why it's always good. And again, it doesn't have to be aesthetically pleasing, even though that does add to quality in some ways. Not always, but basically putting in the effort. The second thing, quantity. Quantity is how much you put out. And again, I definitely think quality over quantity, but what it means in this respect is basically consistency. Putting things out there, creating, not just making something once, not just having this like project that you work on and then you put it out there and that's it. No more working on myself, no more creating. It's a constant flow. You're never stopping. I mean, you may stop to rest. There may be different things, but you can sleep when you're dead kind of concept. I don't completely agree with that, the sleep when you're dead. I think it is good to rest. But you still want to constantly be working on yourself and constantly trying to add value. You have to work quality with quantity. You have to put stuff out there, whatever that looks like for you, that has value, that has some type of meaning for someone. Positive is especially better, in my opinion, and you have to consistently put that out, or at least be working on it. And then the mental attitude. So your mental attitude is, are you going to be negative or positive? That's at its very basic level. You can choose to be negative. You can choose to be pessimistic about life. You can choose to be a victim. Or you can choose to create. You can choose to be positive, and you can choose to uplift people. Now, I don't know about you guys. I think almost anybody that's a human being would be able to, and even other animals. People know when others are positive and they know when others are negative. If someone's constantly putting someone else down, and not in a critical kind of way, like a constructive criticism sort of way, but I this person is trash, I hate this person, or this idea is trash, and like they focus on the negative aspects of life. And maybe you're gonna have moments where you do focus on negatives. I'm not saying you won't. I definitely have those moments. But people notice that if you are consistently that way. And why not be positive? Why not have a pleasing attitude when you are talking to people? Because you only have a finite amount of time on this planet. You don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow. You don't know if you're going to be here in a few minutes. And I know that sounds really morbid, but why put out negativity? Why put out negativity when you can be positive and you can uplift people and you can make the world a happier place? So all of that stuff together, it looks like if you're putting out quality things, and it's not even putting out, but when you're doing whatever you're doing for something, whether it's your job, whether it's school, whether it's just life in general, when you are always focused, or you at least try to always get back to being focused on putting value into things, being consistent, and having a positive attitude, people are going to notice that. And when people do notice that, and they see that you're not just doing it just because, but this is who you are, this has become a habit for you, it's gonna really make a difference in your life. And people are gonna think, wow, like, I really want to be like that. You're gonna be inspirational to other people because they may be thinking about doing certain things, but they're so afraid of doing things, or they just are lazy, or whatever the case may be. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting because also why I wanted to talk about this is it does seem like, lately, I'm not saying that I go the extra mile all the time, but I have been trying to go above and beyond what I'm expected to do. And it's not because I have a hidden agenda or something like that. Because also, by the way, people can see past that. People can see if you're a genuine person or not. And there's always going to be those people, no matter how genuine you are, there's going to be haters, there's going to be people that are like, you're the worst person in the world. But don't surround yourself with those people. Don't listen to those people. If you are coming out of a place of love, and you're coming out of a place of authenticity, and you're trying to be positive and uplift people, and not only that, but you're doing things that better people's lives, and you're consistently doing those things, that's what it means to go the extra mile. That's what it means to really prove yourself with your work ethic. Yeah, I don't know how well I explain this, because it's one of those things where in my head I have such a concrete view of what it means to go the extra mile, and I know when others are doing it, I can see that, even if it's not something that I'm interested in, or maybe it's not something that I value, but I can see when people are really putting their all into things. And I can also see when people half-ass things, because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've definitely half-ass stuff. I've definitely done the bare minimum, and even though my baseline might have been higher than certain people, or lower, depending on the circumstance, yeah, I haven't always gone the extra mile, but something that I've told myself, especially the last few months, or even the last year or so, maybe just the last few months, I would say, is I just really want to start doing that in all areas of my life. And it's not always going to be that way. There's going to be times where I do fall short. No matter how hard I try, I'm going to fall short. But another thing about going the extra mile, sometimes it doesn't work out the first time. Sometimes doing more effort doesn't reap results. But I guarantee you, if you continue putting yourself out there and putting the effort in and creating value and doing things that are bettering the world at large, not only yourself, but the world, people are going to catch on to it. Because you're going to be, with all of these, if we're thinking about like ourselves as light bulbs, if you're charging your light bulb and we're saying that these light bulbs are there's a battery charge on these light bulbs, you are charging these light bulbs with your force, your work, your ability to go the extra mile where others fall short. And they kind of have these light bulbs and that they're doing the bare minimum to keep lit. They have a very dim light within them. And you're pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And your light bulb becomes brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. It's either going to be extremely bright before someone notices it, or it's going to catch on fire. But if it catches on fire, if the glass breaks and it catches on fire, that's, if you think about it as yourself and going the extra mile, doing the things that are above and beyond, you're shining. And this might be like a pretty devastating fire. So maybe that wasn't the best analogy, but people can't, if a fire's in your room with a bunch of other light bulbs, if you see this one light bulb that burns so bright that it explodes because nobody's paying attention to it, it explodes because it's putting in so much energy and it causes a fire, you're not going to go unnoticed. And it's the same thing. If you're not necessarily yelling to the world, oh, look at me, I'm the best, I'm putting all this effort in, I'm doing all this, I'm whatever. If you're not doing that, I think that's awesome. I think that's great that you don't go around and think, oh, I'm the best thing since sliced bread. Regardless of whether or not you go around and tell people that, which I wouldn't think that that's the best thing to do. I know some people have more of a personality that they do feel the need to tell people that they're successful. But your success will show itself. It will reveal itself. It's going to catch on fire and people are not going to be able to ignore it anymore. And that's what going the extra mile means to me. And again, I don't know if I did it justice, if that really made sense, but I probably shouldn't have always say I don't know, but I think the thing I know is I don't know. And I'm always going to be learning, I'm always going to be growing, and I'm always going to have to work and change. So I hope you guys are having a spectacular day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.